All right, McFarlane action figure enjoyers, we have reviewed the Khorne Berserker, the much maligned Terminator, and then finally, at the end of this wave, we are going to be taking a look at the Space Wolves Wolfguard to see if this action figure is actually going to be worth your very hard-earned $30. Hopefully this action figure review will be as good as the Khorne Berserker, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be better than the Terminator. So there's only one way to find out, by diving into the review. Let's see what we have inside. Let's take the plastic cover for an unglarified look. All right, it's time to dive into the details. And what does the details bring? Looking at the bare head of this Wolfguard figure, we get to see obviously a mohawk. And then this is a very interesting part. It looks like this hair beneath this mohawk is like mimicking stubble, which is very interesting to me. So as we are looking at the eye area, we have some areas in which that are screened on with the whites of the eyes, but if you look at the inner eye area, it doesn't appear that anything was screened on. And then as we look at the other side, this happens a little bit, but not as prominent as the right eye over here. But at least it does convey that this Wolfguard is staring right at you menacingly. We get to see these mutton chops here, and I'll be honest with you, I would have actually preferred if this Wolfguard actually had a full beard, because that's usually what you equate when you think of Space Wolves. Literally a full-on beard. This guy actually, to be honest, looks a little bit naked in terms of facial hair. Anyways, we will take a look at the pauldron, and up top you get to see some Space Wolf runes, a Space Wolves chapter symbol right here, and then what I'm going to presume is the Wolfguard iconography. And as we look over to the other side, we have the Space Wolves chapter symbol that is being rocked right here. And one thing that I'll have to say is it's nice that this chapter symbol is raised from the plastic, and it gives more, obviously, three-dimension quality of it. And another thing that I have said many a time before on this channel is that I do appreciate the damage that McFarlane does introduce to the armors of most, if not all, Warhammer 40K action figures. So you can see there is a scrape right here, battle damage. Same thing back here, scrape as well. As we are taking a look at the chest area, get to see a very golden wings, and these golden wings, as usual, do not have any sort of shading to it whatsoever, but it's actually pretty nice looking in my opinion. And then you have a red gemstone in the center. Then moving down to the middle section of this action figure, you get to see this wolf's paw, I believe, right here. And then there is a wolf's pelt that is front and center in this guy's groin region. I would have to say the color of this wolf pelt is very applicable to the subject matter here, but one thing I really would like to see is some differentiation in this area. So you've got another section where you see the wolf's teeth that are dangling down here. And once again, it would have been nice to see some differentiation between the fur of the wolf versus the teeth of the wolf right here. And as we are looking on down to the bottom half of this action figure, once again, you see plenty of battle damage here, especially with the kneecaps. Bunch of scrapes and dings that I really do like. Makes this action figure jump out. You have some wolf runes down here. So this area down here is what I'm talking about. Clearly, McFarlane does have the ability to differentiate these wolf teeth from, let's just say, the gray of the Space Wolves armor. And there was really no reason why they can't apply this area here, up here, to make this part stand out. We're gonna flip around to the back and take a look at it. And I'm not exactly sure if the camera can actually pick up this thing, but I'm noticing this weird like purplish sheen right here, and this is only occurring in this thigh area for this action figure. So if you take a look at it right here, you get to see this weird purple sheen, and as you move on down, you don't get to see this down here, nor do you get to see this anywhere else up here. So I don't know exactly if they were using some kind of different other plastic, or the plastic came from some other place, but I think this is a little bit odd in my opinion. But thankfully, This issue is on the lower half of the action figure, so you probably won't get to notice. Anyway, let's put the body of this action figure down and take a closer look at the bolt rifle. And the bolt rifle actually does have the colors that you would want to see in the bolt rifle. What I mean by this is typically, and this is perfectly pictured, you have the gunmetal metallic silver section right here, and then the casing over here is black. So this is actually a fairly nice looking bolt rifle. And then we are going to take a look at this power axe. Apparently the Wolfguard aren't able to have frost axes, but this actually does look like a frost axe in my opinion. So this electric blue area is very nice looking in my opinion. I do love my metallic stuff on my action figures. So you can clearly see that there is a base coat of a silver, and they probably put some translucent blue to accent this axe, which is very nice. And it's got all these battle damages and scars on the blade of the axe, and you can see this chip here too. Taking a look at the handle of this axe, well, it is very plain and very unadorned. It is obviously black and could use some TLC from a second-hand painter. The backpack is pretty much what we've seen all throughout the Space Marine line. The only thing that makes this backpack really jump out is this wolf iconography that is on top of it. Clearly you see a very large wolf's head right here, and it looks like these bones right here are lashed together by some black twine. Although, unfortunately, I think that the painting on this black twine is a little bit half-assed. I say that because, well, I wish that they would have extended the black all the way to this bleach bone section. While we are on the topic of the backpack, let's take a look at if the backpack is actually the same. This is the backpack that I have from my Blood Angels Primaris Hellblaster, and it looks like there are no changes whatsoever that are happening with the backpack. If we flip around, it looks like all the pipes and all the different electronics are the same. I also do have my Hellblaster next to me, so we're just going to take a look and see if the parts on this Space Wolf Wolfguard are actually different. So clearly the Pauldron is completely different from the Hellblaster, and I would assume that the Pauldron is completely different on the left-hand side, and obviously that is the case. It would appear that the main chest mold is probably the same, and I say that because this part up here can probably be swapped out. And the reason why I say that is because this part right here with the iconography is manufactured separately and stuck on. And as we take a look at the thigh area, it would appear that the armor is pretty much the same as well. And as we take a look at the other side, I would say that this part is completely the same. Anything that is knee and below is a complete different mold in terms of the battle damage is completely different. You can see more scratches and dings. I suppose the biggest noticeable difference is that the area in which the backpack attaches to is a bit shorter on the Wolfguard versus the Hellblaster. And if we flip around to the back, I would have to say the legs on the armor are completely the same. All right, folks, that is the in-depth review of this Space Wolf Wolfguard, and it's time to wrap it up. So let me close out this review with what I think about this action figure in its totality. So at an entry price of $30, it really isn't that bad. I mean, McFarlane action figures have perennially been pretty cheap and very good as a point of entry in the Warhammer action figure hobby. And this action figure does not actually disappoint in my opinion. So what are the things that I actually do like about this action figure? Well, to be honest, the power axe or the frost axe actually is really nice looking. I really like the metallic look on this thing. And I really wish that McFarlane would actually apply that painting technique all throughout the whole entire action figure line. I think it would improve how these action figures look. And I'll have to admit to you, the face on this action figure is not that bad at all either. Granted, there are points in which I think it could use a little bit of improvement, especially around the eyes, but it does convey that the action figure is staring at you quite menacingly. So a few critiques that I'm going to point out to you is that, well, when I was doing the B-reel for this video, I actually found that the hands were really quite stiff in terms of trying to get the bolter as well as the power axe in the action figure's hands. I know that you can dip it into hot water to make it more flexible, but I tend not to do that because I'm just too lazy, I guess, to wait. So that's probably my own fault. But regardless, the bolt rifle that is in this Wolfguard's right hand, it doesn't really fit that well. I don't know if you can really see from this angle. The Wolfguard's finger does not actually wrap around the trigger very well. And the final thing is what I touched upon during the review. It's kind of weird that the thigh area has this weird purplish blue kind of hue to the armor, but it doesn't really detract from the whole of this figure. And to end all my videos, do I recommend this to people? Yeah, I totally recommend it. Again, at the price point of $30, it's not that bad that you can't overlook all its issues. And I think by now we all know what we are getting into when it comes to buying a McFarlane action figure. So once again, thank you for tuning into this action figure review. Hopefully we will get back into more Joy Toy action figure reviews once the new ones start releasing sometime later this month. So look forward to those reviews. And with that being said, I'll see you all in the next one.